When I was a corporate manager of Fairchild Industries in 1974 through 77, I met the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in early 74. At that time, von Braun was dying of cancer, but he assured me that he would live a few more years in order to tell me about the game that was being played, that game being the effort to weaponize space. The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in 74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And when he explained to me the reasons for why weapons were going to be put into space, the enemies against whom we were going to build these weapons, and that all of that was a lie, and when he mentioned the extraterrestrial card, that extraterrestrials, aliens he called them, were going to be identified as the final enemy against whom we were going to build space-based weapons back in 74, the way he said it to me, there was no doubt in my mind that he knew something that he was too afraid to talk about. Wernher von Braun actually told me that the premise for space-based weaponry, the reasons that were going to be given, the enemies that we were going to identify, were all based on a lie.
El espacio también puede ser un campo de batalla. El mandatario norteamericano justificó con esta declaración la necesidad de crear fuerzas espaciales. Además, ha prometido que los estadounidenses llegarán pronto a Marte. El mandatario afirmó textualmente que tener este tipo de fuerzas militares es esencial para que Washington siga mostrando el camino hacia las estrellas.
My new national strategy for space recognizes that space is a warfighting domain, just like the land, air, and sea. We may even have a space force. You will be part of the 5 proud branches of the United States Armed Forces: Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and the Coast Guard. And we're actually thinking of a 6th, and that would be the Space Force. Does that make sense? The Space Force, General. You probably haven't even heard that. I'm just telling you now. This is perhaps because we're getting very big in space, both militarily and for other reasons, and we are seriously thinking of the Space Force.